The relationship with a client, that's a key component part of doing extraordinary tattoo work, because it's always a collaborative effort. For myself, I feel that I act as a medium. I act as a translator on a psychic level, act as a translator of my client's thoughts and desires, and I use my efforts to put them into a visual sense on their skin.
He asked me what I liked, and in talking, once you sat down in the chair and you initially started a piece, I believe the first piece Scott did on me was we did some fill work, I believe, and he just said, you want some skulls? I said, yep. So we went ahead and we did some skulls, and I really liked it. And then, afterwards we came out, we started talking, we started going over some of the flash that he had on the wall, and I said, well, I like that piece, and he says, oh, a piece would look good, and so then we started bouncing ideas back and forth, and
to trust somebody like that is very important, because tattoos are for life. Once you get it, you have it forever, and to be able to trust somebody to not even have a stencil on your leg and just tattoo away and come up with something, it takes a lot of trust, and I had that in Scott.
From having, crappy tattoos, and then, from people that just don't care and are out to make a dollar, then having Scott do them, it was his passion and his love, and it's not only the work, but it's the, the way they hold the needle, the way, it's not a rush job, I wanted Scott to do so much work, and it's just, you can't trust anyone. It's just, you go in and you see the pictures, and like I said, you just pick them apart. You say, well, this is wrong with it, or that's wrong with it, or I don't like how they do this, or I don't like how they do that. And to find someone else again is major. And if Dave leaves or something unfortunately happens to Dave, I'm done. I can't go through this again.
For me, my first tattoo that I got in New Hampshire, even though it was small and it was just black, so it was very plain, I didn't know a lot about these people beforehand, but I did my research when I made the appointment. I made the appointment for several weeks after I had gone up there, and I went through all their books, looked at their work, looked at the studio itself. Was I comfortable in it? I felt very comfortable, even though it was much different than what I'm accustomed to now. I was very comfortable in the studio, and they were very personable. And I kept giving them pictures and more pictures of the tattoo that I wanted, and they would draw it up. I say, no, that's not how I want it. Can you do this? The more you work with an artist, if they're willing to work with you, then they're the ones to go to. That's what I thought.
With Scott, it was always very personable, very personal to him, whoever he did work for. He wanted to make sure that I was comfortable, and of course that was easy for him, because all he had to do was start joking and start, but he was serious about his work. But on the other side, he was very, making you feel really comfortable by, just kind of talking, joking. I know that sometimes his wife, who, helped him in the shop, would kind of, crack the whip a little bit and say, come on, Scott, we've got other people waiting. But Scott really wanted to make you feel comfortable, and if he said he was going to do it, he didn't care how late it was going to be, because he would do what, he said he would do.
We went with the elbow, which I wanted a skull on my elbow, and he quite surprised me, because I pretty much just said, I just want a skull on my elbow, and he goes, how creative do you want me to get? And I said, run. And he did. And there are times that I'm still finding things to this day that I didn't see that he put in, and it's pretty amazing.
My husband had heard through many, many people about a wonderful artist in West Warwick, and we finally decided to venture out and come down and meet Skott. And Stephen had originally met Sandy in a taxi. She's a taxi driver, and he gave her a ride, and he was talking to her about this wonderful tattoo artist and wanted to know if he knew her, if she knew him, and his name was Skott Greene, and she said, well, that's my husband, and it's kind of how they met. And so we went down, I think it was 2 weekends later, to the tattoo parlor, and it generally just felt like I met someone that I have known many, many lifetimes. There was just a connection there with him, and as we came down, we would come down just to talk to Skott. I mean, he did my first fairy tattoo, which was not flash, for the first time ever, and it was incredible, absolutely incredible work. And it wasn't just the tattoo bonding, it was just on a personal level bonding. It was just something about Skott that drew you to him. I can't even explain it. So we would come down and we'd just hang out with Skott because he had that presence about him, and in doing that we got to be friends more, and then I got closer to Sandy, and things progressed. And then as we're talking to him, we would, come up with another tattoo idea, so I'd make an appointment and come down for another tattoo. And there were many, many planned, and unfortunately won't be carried out by Skott.
Skott, he and I both believed in that. He would always tell people, if you're going to walk into a parlor, even if it's my parlor, just because you know my name or you know of me, go through my portfolio. That's what it's there for. Artists technically put their best work in the portfolio that they show to people. If there's no portfolio that you can see, or they don't want to show it to you when you ask, I would leave, because then they're not proud of their work. But they put their best work in their portfolio. If you talk to them about a tattoo or a picture and they have a passion for it, like they get excited about it, they really want to work with you, that's someone to go to. The cleanliness and everything aside, because now every tattoo parlor has to follow specific regimens, but to me, it's more the feeling that you get. If you walk in there and they're very friendly to you, they talk to you as if you're a regular person, not someone who's going to give them a lot of money, then that's the person to go to. And he and I both believed in that. It's more the feeling that you get, and then you look at the work. And it's all those things combined. If you go in somewhere and you get a feeling like, they don't really want to work with you, and, it's just, you show them the piece that you want, and they're like, oh, that's stupid, leave. Because they have no respect for you or what you want. You're the one who's wearing it.
The third one, that was his. And there was a piece on my leg that was uncovered, and he went with the size, the colors, pretty much everything. He had full reign to do what he wanted to do, because I trusted him 100%. And I knew he would never put anything crappy or yucky on my leg.